Mayor, I'm community. I'm not press.
Good to see you. Oh, Dr. Pryor. How you, man? With the academy, and I believe the team is going to reach out to you. Good to see you. I just love being in the BX. What you know about that? Oh, we are really excited, and listen, it's a hard job. It's a hard job being mayor. You go from drinking from a garden hose to a water hose. You know, a fire hose, I like to say. But there's not one day I don't wake up and feel, you got this. You know, there's no nervousness, there's no tension. When you authentically care for people, you feel as though you wake up every day with the opportunity you're blessed with to come out and meet good people and see the good work you're doing on the ground. And when I walk through the streets and people just give me that thumbs up sign and just say, you know, Eric, we love you, we love what you're doing, stay focused, keep doing what you're doing. It means so much to me. And when I walk in this room and greet you here, and your commitment and dedication says a lot. And it goes unheard. But I hear you and I see you, I support you, and I'm one of you. Always remember that. Always remember that. And so you heard me say over and over again, you know, people always miss, Vanessa, when I say the prerequisite to prosperity is public safety and justice. Everybody says, you know what, he's ex-popo, so all he knows is police. They miss that entire part that I keep saying over and over again. Public safety and justice. You know, they roll out my blueprint. All they talk about is one part of it. They didn't look at my foster care part of it. They didn't look at my crisis management team part of it. They didn't look at dealing with dyslexia and other things. They just want to focus on one part. If you don't have public safety and justice, you're not going to prosper. You can't have justice without public safety, and you can't have public safety without justice. They go together. So we're going to keep saying it over and over again, and eventually it's going to resonate. The prerequisite to prosperity is public safety and justice. That's the balance that we're going to strike. And it's unique because historically people only want the public safety part of it and only want the justice part of it. But here I come along saying, no, we're going to have both together. And it's going to take time before it resonates throughout the city, but I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Matter of fact, I may make some T-shirts up saying the whole thing. And that's what we want to do long term. Bring them together. And we talked about that over and over again. This is what this administration is going to be about. Why I rolled out my blueprint to end gun violence that points out some of the public safety and justice aspects. Public safety's our subway plan deals with public safety and justice. My senior leaders that I appointed understands that. They bought into the concept of having them both together. The partnership up in the Bronx with Darcel and Vanessa is really personifies the public safety and justice. We're going to build on the work that we have committed ourselves to for so many years, and making sure that the tools to entry in our city will help produce healthy New Yorkers. Because if you go up and do a bid, you do time upstate or in Rikers, and you come back to the same conditions that sent you up there in the first place, then it's a setup. It's just a setup. That upstream mindset is what we're going to bring to the city. And it's in three layers. Layer one, we need to build out those institutional things that won't have a child pick up a gun. Layer two, to make sure that we are humane if someone has a gun and they have to go inside, to make sure the services inside is going to fortify them that they don't come back. And layer three, those who are out. if you're on probation, if you're on parole, you need to have the support that you don't go back. So we need to attack this from every level, and that is what we're putting the team together to do. And so making sure that the tools are available, making sure that those leaving our justice system will have the justice they deserve when they come home is crucial for me. And we have 3 announcements today. These are superstars. They know each other. They've worked together. They've done things together. They're familiar. They have been sitting on a bench for so long and have been just saying, Coach, put me in the game. Put me in the game. Well, you know what? The coach is here. Coach is here. And I'm going to put you in the game, and allow you to do the things you do all the time. We're going to expand on the Credible Messenger program that has already seen fantastic results in the Department of Probation. This was so forward-thinking to put this program in place of connecting the credible messengers with those who are out on probation. And our probation system plays a crucial role, not only trying to find ways to put you back in, but how do we find ways to keep you out? Reaching people at the time they need. And so the probation officers will work with credible messengers who have the experience on the ground, an amazing program that we're going to continue to invest in, and data shows it works. When we use credible messengers, there's a drop of more than 2/3 of felony recidivism. Just let that resonate for a while. So starting now, every single young person on probation, 21 years or under, will be connected with a credible messenger mentor. Good stuff. Good stuff. That will create more than 1,000 new connections. We're going to add capacity all over the city for this work to be done, including a dedicated training facility. We will also help young people get on the right path. This is so important. Many of these young people are coming back to the same conditions that put them in trouble in the first place, and we need to be there for them so they don't slip through the cracks. Second, we are leading a massive expansion of the NEON program in the Neighborhood Opportunity Network. That is a great program, NEON. This whole team here, and I don't know what I have to do to get one of those sweatshirts and hoodies, because I'm a hoodie. I'm a hoodie guy. I don't think a mayor has ever wore a hoodie before. So NEON is an excellent place, and if you're here, you should really interview some of these staffers and visionaries. Our NEON programs offer all kinds of services to New Yorkers that are on probation, and community services, arts, photography classes. That's why we got the camera over here on the end. Photography classes, clothing classes, job training, and really giving people an alternative. And we're going to immediately build out this work. It's so important, and it's located strategically in the right areas of our city. We have a total of 1 in each borough. I believe we have 2 in Brooklyn, but we want to expand this. 3 in Brooklyn? 3 in Brooklyn. We want to expand it and continue to give the services to people on the ground. We will add a full lineup of NEON sports programming this spring to our young people and grow their physical and mental capacity. I don't know how we do this, but somehow, team, we need to figure out how to bring this team to all my press conferences. We are expanding access to NEON nutrition kitchens. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. And open up 800 more spots in our summer job training and art classes. All of it's going to mean more opportunity to those New Yorkers who are in need. And finally, we will transform our justice system. If we're going to do that, we need real leadership. It's crucial to have the right leadership with the right vision. Helen Keller states, the only thing worse than being blind is to have sight and no vision. We need visionary leadership, and I'm just really proud to announce and reappoint Anna Bermudez as our Commissioner of Department of Probation. You know, this appointment is so important to us because, you know, to have the vision, you know, Anna could just do her job and just push the papers around, but she believes in the work. She just believes that we should not continue to see these young people broken in many places, and we have nothing in place to heal them. And so to be in probation and to do this, that is not in her job description. But she realizes that she has to go beyond her job description if she wants to stop what we're seeing with these young people. So I really thank you personally. And we're going to give you the dynamic duel. We're going to bring on the second appointment we are announcing today is Dina Logan, you know, as the director of Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. Both of these women have really transformed their agencies. Dina was in the #2 spots for a long time, and she's going to finally have her opportunity to use all that experience to provide the services we need. And so the fantastic work that both of them are doing. Anna's been here for a little bit, back in 2014, previously served as a Deputy Commissioner for Juvenile Operations. So they have witnessed on the ground what's broken in the system as we attempt to turn it around. And so this is personal for her. She's deeply involved, and we're proud of what she has done and what she will continue to do. So it gives me great pleasure to bring up the Commissioner of Probation, Commissioner Bermudez. Commissioner.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations, Director Logan. I'm looking forward to working very closely with you in the years to come. Well, you know, I owe this great honor to many people, and many of whom are here. My family, in particular, my wife, Jackie, who has supported my career throughout our entire lives together. To our community partners, the number and variety of which have increased exponentially over my tenure at probation, and which backs our belief that we get to human justice, that to get to human justice, we need the whole village, right? And most of all, my immense gratitude goes to the women and men of this department, many of whom are here, who's, you know, it's like the mayor said, everybody in this department goes beyond their job description, basically, right? And how the Neons got started was in great part because of that. And so their perseverance and dedication to the people we serve, to that human justice, is unparalleled. And who, of course, have put up with me for a few years now, particularly my leadership team, many of whom are here. You know who you are. A la ciudadanía latina les quiero asegurar que voy a continuar el trabajo que hemos comenzado en el Departamento de Probatoria para ayudar a las personas envueltas en el sistema de justicia a superar esa experiencia y a obtener las oportunidades y las destrezas necesarias para poder tener un futuro exitoso. Gracias, Jeanette. So I do want to emphasize that everyone who works at this department deeply honors the humanity of the people we serve in the justice system, as they work diligently to foster the behavior change needed to be able to exit the system, as the mayor said. And I think the best way to describe what we really do is actually a riff on one of your metaphors that I absolutely love, and that it's so apt for this work. So I thank you for the inspiration. So our probation officers are relentlessly building dams to stem the flow of the justice system river into that sea of violence. They are. But they're doing much more than that, because alongside with our CBO partners and community stakeholders, also many of whom are here, Dr. Wyatt, Dr. Pryor, Jeanette Bocanegra, Kay Bain, they're all building boats and opening canals to the sea of prosperity.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay, to that sea of prosperity you want. So that is why the expansions of the Credible Messenger Mentor initiatives and the Neons are so critical. Thank you again. Muchas gracias nuevamente for the opportunity to serve New York City, por la oportunidad de servir a la ciudadanía de Nueva York. Thanks.
Love that bow piece. You know, I didn't even recognize Kay Bain over there hiding in a mask. You know, good speaking with you over the weekend as we continue to do this work. And our next appointment, you know, Dina has served as the acting director of MOCJ. She's just a proven reformer and watching what's right with the system, what's wrong with the system, how do we get it right. She devoted herself to public service, to fully understanding our justice system, and she spent the time. She spent the time in doing so. And I know she has a special joy because her boss is here. You know, the DA, Darcel Clark, our former boss. And so it gives me great pleasure to bring on the director of MOCJ, Dina Logan.
Congratulations, Commissioner. I look forward to our continued working together. Mr. Mayor, thank you. DA Clark, Borough President, Council Member, thank you all. Your partnership in the years has been fantastic, and support. But, you know, at this moment, thank you, Mayor Adams, for the honor of leading your Office of Criminal Justice. As I stand here today, I'm optimistic for the future. We will build for New Yorkers. Many years ago, a maga little gal, as my family would say, or a skinny little girl, as many of you would say, came here from the island of Jamaica with her parents for a better life. My parents made sacrifices to ensure that my sister and I could have opportunity. They insisted that their daughters could be anyone and do anything we set our minds to. During my teenage years in East Flatbush, the loss of friends to gun violence solidified my desire to become a prosecutor and give voice to survivors of crime. Yet as we grow, we learn. What I learned during my life's journey is that the path to safety, much like life, is complicated. Focusing on a person's actions on their worst day will not bring us safer communities. Yes, we must hold individuals that inflict harm accountable, but as Mayor Adams has said and has invested in, we too must be accountable for the harms caused by lack of a supportive village that doesn't afford opportunities, and we have to prevent people from getting to the place where they feel the need to inflict that harm. I stand here a beneficiary of many opportunities that I had the privilege to take advantage of because of my own supportive village that helped me pursue my education and later as a single mom thrive in a demanding career while raising my fantastic young adult twins. The village of family, friends, work colleagues who are all here, mentors, partners, Kay Bain, Dr. Pryor, I saw you sitting over there, but I know you're here. Hello. Are why I am here and energized and ready to ensure that the incredible professionals working in your Office of Criminal Justice will continue our work bringing criminal justice stakeholders together, collaborating with our city agencies. We will use Mayor Adams's vision to formulate innovative solutions, employing data-driven tools that promote public safety while ensuring access to opportunity, care, and justice for all. I am confident that this team will achieve our goal of building stronger, healthier communities in which every New Yorker has a supportive village. Mayor Adams, we, your Office of Criminal Justice, are unwavering in this mission, and we are ready to get stuff done.
Love it. I love all that energy, all that swagger. And listen, we can't get it done without our DA, who in the countless number of meetings and interaction, the true balance of public safety and justice, of, you know, just a good friend and a committed public servant. I just want to bring up right now DA Darcel Clark.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, so much for that introduction. I want to say congratulations to Commissioner Bermudez, who has been a friend throughout the years. Long before the 2014, she has been a dedicated public servant for years, as have I, in this city and in this community. And I'm glad that you are going to be able to continue that work and our partnership. So thank you. To new director of the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, or MOCJ as we call it, Deanna Logan. Thank you, Deanna. Look, I want to take credit for her. I just get to do that because, you know, when I took office as DA in 2016, I was looking for a team to build to help transform the district attorney's office and the work that we had to do. And in one of the areas that we really needed work was at Rikers Island. So when I decided that I needed a Rikers Island prosecution bureau to handle the backlogs of what was happening at Rikers and to deal with the dysfunction and the violence, I needed an architect who could do that. And I picked Deanna Logan, who was at the Department of Corrections at the time, so she has that kind of experience, a former assistant district attorney, so she had that experience. And now, after she left me, she went to MOCJ. And now she's in charge of it. So I know, Mr. Mayor, you picked the right person here. We got the right partner. So, Deanna, congratulations to you on that. And, you know, to the members of the Department of Probation, thank you for the work that you do. You know that we stand shoulder to shoulder in this work. All of you here. I'm here well, first of all, we're in the same building. So we can't miss each other because we have the work to do. But the court is right there. And so much of what you do is so important to our communities because you do stand in between those people in our community, young people and others who are one step from making it into the jail system or the prison system. Probation is the last stop. Okay, that you're the last responder before people enter into a penal system. So you play a very important role. But what you're doing is transforming lives here. You have the opportunity to do that. And that's why I feel so strongly about partnering with the Department of Probation, because even as a DA, I do not want to send everybody to jail. I do not want to send everybody to prison because not all of them deserve to go. But we need to look at the resources in our community to make sure we deal with prevention, the prosecution, if we have to make it fair and just, and the reentry. And that's the work that I've been doing. But the Department of Probation, when you get people here, you get them to look at themselves, the self-awareness, give them the tools that they need. So you get them to ask themselves, what is it that I want to do? You know, am I any good at it, or can I be any good at it? But most importantly, does the world really need it? And for you to give them those kind of tools to be successful, that's a win for this city. So I'm glad to partner with you to continue that kind of work. And those members of the Department of Probation, you know who are, you've done this work. I have to shout out two particular people here, though, in probation that are longtime friends, that we fuss and fight. We love each other. We're like brothers and sisters, but they are dedicated to this work. And that's the General Counsel, Wayne McKenzie. We just had a phone call where we had one of those conversations, but our hearts are in the right place. So thank you, Wayne, for your service. And, of course, Sharon Goodwin-Jones, who, let me tell you, I've known Sharon since, 86 or something, whatever, when she was here in the Department of Probation as just a person, but always full of ideas. Always, and we always talked about, I was a young ADA, she was with probation, I moved on to be a judge, she, you know, came up in probation more and more, and I remember as I'm sentencing people or deciding whether or not I wanted to sentence people to probation, there were times where I was like, no, they're not doing their job, but there was Sharon, always there telling me, no, we got this, we're going to do this, and I credit her. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I know she's the first person that came to me with a neon idea, so we owe that to her. So I'm glad that they have, and I have been down here. I was was here for the opening and everything else. You are transforming lives. You really are. And Mr. Mayor, for you now to say in your blueprint that you want to expand Neon, that's absolutely right. It shouldn't just be in this building because the court is right across the street. This is easy for them to make it over here. That's if they're in court. But what about if they're in their community? Because that's community supervision, probation. You need to meet people where they are. Go out into those community centers. Set up probation there. Set up Neons there so the people can have access. And the fact that you open it up not only to people who are on probation, but people in their families, people in the community. That's what this is. So I'm happy that you're going to continue to do that. And finally, we can have safety and fairness, safety and reform at the same time. That's the work that we're doing. I'm dedicated to it. As you heard me say, Mr. Mayor, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So I'm going to make sure that we get it done. And it's just so great to have you. And I also have a re-entry program. Our collaborative is in this space. So those returning from prison come here within the first week or two of them being released. Probationers come here, and we talk about gun violence, and we've retweaked it because before it was a lot of finger wagging. If you do this, you're going to go back. They don't need to hear that. They need to have the tools so that they can become productive members of the community that they're returning to. I want them to return to our community, but I want them to be safe, and I want them to have the tools so that they can be vibrant members of this community. And we're going to restart that collaborative. We're working with docs now because there's, COVID stopped a lot of things. But when we get that back on track, that's the same thing, giving them the resources during that collaborative, what they need in order to be successful. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, not only for naming these two dynamic women, but for doing it in the Bronx. And I can't wait to work with Borough President Gibson, too, because she knows all about it as well.
And that's a perfect segue into just my partner up here as a former borough president. I know the challenges and difficulties, but you are ready for the job. You got this, and you are leading from the front. Amazing, Vanessa Gibson.
Okay, the mayor set me up. I'm speaking after the district attorney. For once. But good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much to everyone for being here. It is an honor and a privilege to be the Bronx Borough President, to join with our Mayor, Eric Adams, in this very important announcement in the Borough of the Bronx. With my colleagues, with our District Attorney, Darcel Clark, and our council member of this district, District 16, Althea Stevens, and really all of you. I want to commend our mayor for recognizing the talent and the experience of these two dynamic public servants who happen to be women of color. Amen. I have known Commissioner Ana Bermudez during my entire time serving as a member of the New York City Council. I, too, was here for the launch of the NEON program back in 2011, and I am just so grateful that we are not only giving our commissioner the opportunity to continue to lead with compassion and integrity, but really making sure that we look at creative and innovative approaches to the criminal justice system, reimagining public safety, knowing that no matter where you travel in this borough, in the city of New York, every New Yorker has an expectation to be safe. And we have an opportunity here with the Department of Probation and the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice to reimagine public safety, to give our young people access and opportunity, to give them the investments and the support that many of them need. Oftentimes, society has given up on our clients. Our young people not only need a first chance, but a second, third, and a fourth chance. They need the opportunities to be success stories and not statistics. And we look at data quite a bit, right? And we're always looking at numbers and performance indicators and measurements. But guess what we do here at NEON and at the Department of Probation? We measure success on graduation rates, college and careers, pathways to the middle class, apprenticeship opportunities, youth development, summer youth jobs, programs like Neon Arts, Neon Summer, Neon Sports, Neon Kitchen. I know them all because I've been a part of this program on this journey for so long. I have seen our probation officers save lives, doing God's work, saving lives. I'm on my speech here because our probation officers are a majority of Black and Latina women. Women who are here serving, making sure that our young people have a chance at a successful future, taking them out of the criminal justice system and giving them restorative justice opportunities and programs like spoken word, art, like music, dance, sports, so many things that our young people do not have access to. But guess what? We're not waiting for young people to get on probation. We are helping them before they get on probation. So I'm glad that the DA made that point, because the clients we serve here, they are not necessarily criminally justice involved. They just want an opportunity. So these are the doors that we open here on 161st Street, which are the doors to the future, the pathway to success. That's what this program is all about. And we are so grateful that Commissioner Bermudez and her team, and I want to recognize our Deputy Commissioner, Sharon Goodwin, another great leader. Also want to recognize my sister, always make sure I'm here, Kate Spalding. Thank you so much, Kate. We love you, Kate. And I've also had a chance to work with Deanna Logan when we opened the Rikers Island Prosecution Unit under the District Attorney, and I've seen her work at MOCJ. MOCJ also has, which I want to acknowledge, the Mayor's Office to Prevent Gun Violence in all of our neighborhood partners, all of our anti-gun violence organizations and crisis management system, all of the great work that we're doing. Want to also shout out the Arches program, because the Arches program does amazing work, giving our young people mentors, right? You can't be what you can't see. Young people need to look at all of us and see the opportunities, and making sure that they understand they are destined for success. Your block should never block your blessing. And in the middle of all of this, with COVID-19, in the middle of pain, we will find purpose. And in the middle of a storm, we will find solutions and strength. And so through Commissioner Bermudez and Deanna Logan, our executive director at MOCJ, I know that only greater days lie ahead. This team assembled with all of you, with our probation officers and the team here at Probation and Neon, we're going to do great work. And I also want to say, Mr. Mayor, you probably don't know, but in your preliminary budget, I just want to say the Neon program is funded at $5.5 million. And that's a great thing, because we want to expand. I would love to see another Neon program in the Bronx. I need to catch up to Brooklyn, to BP Reynoso. So I'm just saying, this is a great start, but it is not the end. This is the foundation, but it's not the end. And so thank you, Mr. Mayor, for recognizing the talent in Ana Bermudez and Deanna Logan. Thank you for these appointments today, because this is how you achieve public safety. This is how you give access and opportunity to young people, and most importantly, this is how you set our young people up for success. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Felicidades to my friends and my sisters. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. And so before we open the questions, I just really want to bring on our final two speakers, one of them being our amazing councilwoman. This is her dream. This is what she fought for. This is what she ran on. And Councilwoman Stevens, don't think I don't hear you all the time as you drill down on it. You know, so really we're fortunate to have an amazing new councilwoman who's taken up her moment here, Councilwoman Stevens.
Peace, family. It's interesting, Vanessa Ms. Borough President, complains about going after our lovely Darcel Clark, our DA, but I have been following her acts for the last year, and I always have to follow these dynamic speeches. But I won't take up too much time, because everything that needed to be said has already been said. And like our mayor just said, I ran on this, because I was an advocate for 20 years and did youth services and served our young people and families. And so I know firsthand how programs like Neon works. I know firsthand how probation saves lives. And so for me, this is personal because I was there when young people didn't have other options and they came to programs like this and had worked with probation officers who was dedicated to them and stepped in when nobody else did and saved their lives and got them back on track. So these are important moments. So it's important that we continue to fund these programs, develop these programs, and work in partnership because none of these things could be done by itself. This is a piece of the bigger puzzle. So we have to keep that in mind and make sure that we're working together and moving forward. I'm excited that for our new commissioner and our new executive director, and you guys will be seeing me because we will be working in partnership because I am all about collaboration. And I've been working with some of my colleagues, Kevin Riley and Natasha Williams out of the Bronx and Queens, where we've been really talking about how are we going to make a coalition throughout the city and the tri-state area to really combat gun violence. So like I like to say all the time, I remix the mayor's get stuff done is I like to put my words to action. So let's get to work.
And finally, I think it's imperative to see the result of what the NEON program has accomplished and the incredible talents that are being produced here. And so the Assistant Director of NEON Photography and Department of Probation, Andre Whitehead. Why don't you come up, Andre, before we open up the questions.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Andre Whitehead. This is first and foremost, Commissioner. Congratulations. Congratulations to you too, Mayor. I'm a little nervous, but it's what it is. Everybody speaks about these opportunities that NEON provides, and it's really awesome. I started out on probation, and I didn't know where, I wanted to take things. I knew I wanted to change, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know, what would be my next step. And so my probation officer introduced me to the NEON photography program, and I was excited, and I wanted to join. $25 weekly stipends, photography project, teaching the basics and the history of photography. Also just networking with different organizations, companies all over, endless photo opportunities. It just expanded so quickly, so fast. I couldn't believe it. Next thing I knew, I was working with Carnegie Hall, in places like also partnerships with John McEnroe Tennis Academy, the Young Adult Success Corp, with professional development trainings, things like that. This is all the things that I've done in the time of being on probation, and just learning the technical, aspects of photography. This camera changed my life. I'm so serious. So many opportunities. I've went on a photography project in Morocco because of NEON. I've never been out of the country before that. So getting a little emotional, but it really changed my life. Really changed my life, and I don't just want to, speak about it, but I want to be a positive role model. I am a positive role model, and it doesn't stop here. For those at home, and you're sitting there and you feel down and out, just know it's not over. You're still breathing, you're still living, you're still learning. It's not over. You still have a chance. Come to NEON, whether you're on probation or not, and we will help. We will help, guaranteed. These experiences I just want to share with the youth as much as possible, and I just want everybody to just know that I'm living proof that NEON works. All right? Thank you.
Appreciate you. Well said. We could either give them a .38 caliber or a camera. Let's decide, and I am deciding on the camera, and I thank you for that. And listen, I was on probation as a child, so We got a long way to go. So let's open up the questions on topic.
On topic first. Let's do Carol first.
So, Mr. Mayor, how many more? I'm good, thanks. How many more neons can you open this year?
Our goal is to sit down with probation and Mock J, our two new leaders, and see how many we can get open, because this is built into our belief. Make sure that we can expand, and there's more than one way to expand. We've been meeting with our business and corporate partners because we need them to have skin in the game. You know, and so our goal is to see as many as possible. We don't have the exact number right now, but we're going to put the resources to expand.
Just to follow up, how much does it cost to run a neon? This right here.
Do you have that dollar amount? I only spend the money.
Well, yes and no, because these are all probation offices, so there's a lot of the running budget that is already part of what we do. We partner, Carnegie Hall folks are here, we partner at Carnegie Hall, we partner with other community-based organizations, we partner with DOE, they provide the HSC classes, both for adults and community. So it's all a synergy. It's very hard to put an actual dollar amount. But we do public-private. It's a public-private partnership, ultimately. And that's how we get it done. And the mayor's statement about accessing businesses and other people to get involved is important. As to the expansion also, we do map out regions, locations where a good number of people on probation live. That's usually what drives the locations of where we expand to.
Thank you.
Hold on, because what's important here is to see we have to use pre-existing city resources, taxpayers' dollars. So if we have this space that is under probation, why aren't we using it for other means to prevent as well as respond to it? And that is what we're going to be calling on Department of Education. All of our buildings should be maximized to their full potential. We don't use the Department of Education enough. 7 a.m., we say come in, welcome. 3 a.m., we say get out and don't come back until tomorrow. Why aren't we using the gyms, the classrooms, the auditoriums? We have to use the assets. All the assets of taxpayers' dollars must be utilized, and that's what we're going to do. Hey, Sally.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about the messenger mentors, the credible messengers, what they'll be doing, who might oversee that program, and also in your own life, in your experience, did you have somebody who kind of played this role for you when you were younger?
Okay, I'm going to let the commissioners say that, and I remember going to 40 Project as a child to see what was considered my counselor / probation officer. And after she spoke with me, it was my brother and she told my brother to come back the next month, and she told me, don't bother coming back. She says, there's no help for you. You're an angry young man, and I'm not going to spend my time speaking to you. And I remember walking out there, walking past 40 projects, and for a short period of time, I fell back into the same thing that I was doing. And it wasn't until clergy leaders like Reverend Herbert Daughtry that said, I'm not going to allow yourself to go down that path. And they are the Reverend Herbert Daughtries of today. And that is what's important.
Thank you. Yes, I would not have wanted to be in charge of probation then. But in terms of the credible messenger mentors, we operate on a one-size-fits-one approach, right? So to each according to their need and whatnot. But in general, we'll probably be reconfiguring some programs to allow for broader eligibility. For example, we also have on the, as the mayor says, prevention and intervention go hand in hand. I would describe our Arches program as an intervention for young people who are already on probation. Our Next Steps programs that are all over the city in NYCHA developments, we can expand those. And right now they start at 16 years old, so we probably will want to expand some of the eligibility to be able to do more on the prevention side, right? So it will vary, but we will also expand it to young people more on a one-on-one basis, because right now a lot of the programs that we have are group-based. So things like that are we're going to look into.
Is it like connecting people with services, or like with this young man discovering a passion they might have? And
Yes, I mean sometimes so getting people on the right path is not just what is being offered to them, but by whom and how, right? And what has to happen first is that transformational relationship, and your highest, chance of success with what we call affectionately in our practice, the knuckleheads, is that person like Andre, like Hay, like others, who will say, I was there. It's not worth it. But at first, they're not gonna necessarily listen all the time. And that's what's the relentless pursuit of that connection. And then we can open, then we need to have the resources so they can be connected to the resources. And that's the layered approach here.
Any other on-topic questions?
Okay, hold on. I'd like to spare everyone else. So thank you. Thanks all of you for joining. Appreciate you. Look forward to you doing the work. Yeah, you could bounce. Boy, there's a lot of terminologies.
Okay, let's do off-topic. Laura?
Who'd you go with?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good.
I wanted to ask about the potential ending to the EDA NYC program, and can you explain, as best you understand it, what the scientific rationale is for potentially getting rid of the vaccine mandate for people entering restaurants and bars and things like that, while keeping the vaccine mandate for employees of private New York City businesses? What's the epidemiological underpinning of that?
Well, each morning, as I shared several times, each morning I'm briefed by my healthcare professionals, and the primary goal of the mandate, the goal was to get people vaccinated. That's how we got here. Over 70-something percent, I think it's over 75% have both dosage, over 85% have at least one. And the goal was to put in place ways to encourage people to get vaccinated. I believe we've accomplished that. We were extremely successful. We should be commended as New Yorkers to go into restaurants. Now, when we talk about the employee mandates, it's imperative for the businesses to continue to create a safe environment for their employees. When I sat down with the doctors, because I always stated we're going to go based on the science, they were clear. They said, Eric, we could remove the key to NYC that allowed gyms, restaurants, and others, but they said we need to keep in place the mandate for those who are in professional employees or workers, and that includes city workers as well. So we're sending a mixed message if we lift it in one area and we don't do the same thing with city employees and other employees have to be vaccinated. And this is based on what the doctors have told me to continue the trend that we are doing is successful.
Can I just ask
Yes, you can.
Have you heard from the doctors or scientists in city government about any potential concerns that this might open the door to people coming into, I know New Yorkers are very vaccinated, but people coming in from not New York City who are not vaccinated and potentially endangering the employees at the restaurants, bars, movie theaters?
No, they have not shared that concern at all. And they have looked at every aspect of it, and they have not shared that concern. We want tourism back. Tourism is a major economic boost for us. We want our tourists back in the city. Many people are leaving their countries to get on airlines, and they have to be tested or vaccinated upon boarding those airlines. When I came back to this country from being abroad, I had to show proof of vaccine, and I had to actually take an exam, a PCR exam before getting on the plane. So when you come here, you've already went through the screening of the particular country that you're flying from.
Applies to international travelers, not people saying coming from Tennessee, for example?
Well, in many of our cities here, unfortunately, they didn't catch up to what we were doing, but many of our cities here, which has kept us whole, domestic travelers really have stabilized our tourist industry. And so many of them are providing the same. You have to be tested before getting on board. So many of these locales have good rules in place that will ensure that we are not being reckless, but we're being responsible.
I spoke to Kathy Wild this morning, and she said that some businesses have expressed an interest in maintaining the vaccine mandates because it gives their customers a sense of, reassurance that everybody here is vaccinated. Would the city allow them to do that, and how would the city protect them? I could easily see lawsuits and maybe even confusion from tourists coming to one restaurant and seeing that the owner is asking them to be vaccinated, and then other restaurants. How is the city going to mediate those kinds of different policies?
Well, no, this is new territory for the globe. And how many of these court challenges, there were a lot of lawsuits on many aspects of the mandate, and I cannot answer the legal aspect of it, but I can't see a restaurant that is requiring patrons to be vaccinated. I don't see on the surface any laws that are being violated. I don't think that's a human rights issue that we will have to investigate, but we will ask our attorneys and find out if we can give them the option if an establishment decides they want individuals to be vaccinated before entering. I can't give you the legal answer, but I will get it for you. I'll have my counsel look at that and find out exactly are they allowed to do it, because we're not going to allow anyone to violate someone's civil rights in the city.
Dana?
Thanks.
How you doing, Dana?
I'm all right. How are you?
Quite well.
So, as I know you are aware, a 61-year-old Asian American grandma died today, 2 months after she was hit in the head with a rock in an apparent hate crime. I'm curious, do you have a plan to deal with anti-Asian hate crime? And can you talk a little bit about sort of your dissatisfaction with how Jessica Corey was running the hate crimes unit formerly before she was reassigned?
Well, first, let's do that in layers. First, I've rolled out a series of plans to deal with crime, as well as hate crimes. We have an increase in hate crimes in our AAPI community. We have an increase in hate crimes in our Jewish community. And I don't know the exact uptick in the LGBTQ plus community, but there's some troubling signs there. And we don't want a city where hate is the norm. And there are, my meeting today with the AAPI community, we were extremely clear. There's layers to this. And it's not only police. It is about dismantling the siloing of our city where we are not interacting with each other. And so that means David Banks my chancellor, was at the meeting to talk about how do we infuse in our educational system of having people learn the beauty of our diversity. We also had Deputy Mayor William Isom there to deal with the mental health issue. When you look at a lot of these cases, you continue to see the same profile. People having mental health issues that they don't receive the services. And so the plan of dealing with hate, particularly in my AAPI community, is to zero in, having a zero tolerance for hate crime. And that leads into your second question. I thought we were too slow in designating, investigating something as a potential hate crime. And I wanted to make sure that someone was in charge of the unit that understood my vision. I'm not going to govern the city based on stats. We're going to be clear. If there's a crime, we're going to report that crime. And if we reveal the stats, that allows us to fight harder to bring the stats down that are indicating that there's a problem. And so I wanted a new face there. This was not a indictment on the current leader that was there, but when I was running for office, I stated I wanted a new face there, a new vision. It was something that I've always believed, that we were a little too slow in saying investigating as a possible hate crime. If someone struck a Korean individual that was walking down the block in Manhattan, a dignitary, for no other reason than how he looked, and we don't designate it as a possible hate crime, I'm troubled with that. Or if someone comes into a precinct and makes a report and they don't take the exact wording of what the report was, and you're not willing to investigate it as a hate crime, that's troubling to me.
NBC.
Mr. Mayor, the crime stats over the weekend on the subways, any updates, anything you could share with us?
The crime stats?
Crime that occurred in the subway over the weekend, anything you could share with us?
No, the NYPD normally puts out their numbers in their report. If you're talking about the initiative around the homeless, we continue to average about 125 interactions a night. I am sitting down tomorrow to do an evaluation. I went out yesterday some of the subway stations and talked to the officers on the ground to ask them their pros and cons, what could we be doing differently, and they gave me some great information. I'm going to sit down with the team, and we're going to make some modifications on how we execute the plan, and I'm excited about the future of having a subway system that is a safe way for New Yorkers to commute.
Steve, and then Sally in the room.
Thanks, Mayor. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good to see you. On school masks, the vaccination rate among students is put out by the DOE late last week, 59%. A low number in itself, but there are a lot of neighborhoods that are much lower than that. And we're hearing from a lot of parents that have concerns about kids taking masks off in those low vaccination schools. And obviously the gold standard that your predecessor talked about all the time, how safe schools are, predicated on kids wearing masks. How confident are you that you can keep the school transmission numbers where they are when these masks are off?
That's a good question. Two things. One, that is why we did not react right away, because our children were out, and we have found that the safest place for children is in a school building. But when you go home for the Christmas break and other breaks, you get a slight uptick. So we wanted to be extremely careful not to just automatically state that you can now take off your mask. We want to first look at the numbers, and then on Friday we will make the announcement based on those numbers. But we believe we're trending in the right direction. And we're continuing to say to parents, if you don't want your child to remove his or her mask, you can allow them to keep it on. We're not going to have bullying. We're not going to be treating children differently. And so we're giving parents that option. We're not saying if the mask wearing was a mandate to have it on, but now it is up to the parents to use the discretion. Or if a child feels as though they want to wear their mask, they could do so.
Follow up on a very off-topic subject.
Yes.
Baseball. You're a couple blocks away from Yankee Stadium. I know you root for the other team. But it's looking like labor negotiations aren't going well. What would it mean for this city and this neighborhood that depends on 81 Yankee games a year if baseball takes a long time to settle this?
Concerned, and you're right. You are 100% right about rooting for the other team part, but you're right. Sports play a vital role in the economy, not only for the guys and ladies who are on the field or the court, but all those entities that feed off them. And so I'm going to really reach out to Major League Baseball and just say, let's try to get this resolved. We need sports, and all of these large cities, it's important. So I'm hoping they can work this out in the negotiations so that we can play ball.
Hi. You've referenced a few times recently some technology you might be interested in using to check for weapons going into public schools. Are you referring to infrared technology, or is there something else that's out there, something new that's out there that you want to use?
There's no reason I should hold back on any information, because we know you have the best sources in the business, and you get them before I even know. So we're going to roll out. We're still looking at a few pieces of technology because we want to get it right. We want to make sure we don't violate any civil rights. We want to make sure that the technology is viable and user friendly. But we have a few plans, and we're going to roll it out as soon as we get the stamp of approval from the attorneys and the technology. And I don't want to do that prematurely, but it's going to be part of our overall public safety plan.
Okay, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, folks.
There was a heinous crime in the Bronx where a woman was attacked by a man with feces thrown in her face on the subway, southbound subway. Is there an investigation going on, or do you know anything about it?
I was briefed on on that when I was traveling up, and you know, human waste, and someone spitting in your face, you know, those are real signs of mental health issues. And we keep going back to that conversation, and we really must dig into how we're dealing with these mental health issues. And that is why that is our primary focus. There's an intersectionality between some of the violence we're seeing and people who have undiagnosed or untreated mental health issues. That's a horrific experience for anyone to go through. And the police department is going to apprehend the person involved. I take my hat off to the police department, the Detective Bureau, an investigation of a New York City employee from the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene. We all saw what happened to her. This was good old-fashioned shoe leather, finding the person that was responsible for it. And I really commend the expeditious investigation that was conducted. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, man. You can catch me while we walk.